Hey everybody, welcome back to The Gong, the podcast where I talk about sales at my startup, Riveter. My name is Adriel and I'm the founder of Riveter. Riveter is HR for the unemployed, and we negotiate free and discounted access to dozens of deals that help unemployed people turn unemployment into the most productive and positive period of their life. And you've been following the story a little bit, and I have been a bad friend and a bad host because it's been a little bit since our last recording, so I apologize for that. I'm very sorry. A bunch of you have actually messaged me and texted me and said, "What's up? Where are the episodes?" So, to all of you, here it is. What we're gonna do over the next week or so is I'm gonna release one episode at a time, pretty short, but talking about what's happened over the last few weeks, where we've been at, what's going on, and then I will do my best to be a little bit more regular since. But I want to first talk about something I mentioned a long time ago, which is I had this thought that, again, Riveter, we get all these deals and discounts on behalf of unemployed people, kind of like when you're a student, you get 10% off every restaurant and you get a special student discount at museums. When you're a veteran, you get special discounts in different places. We want to create that for unemployed people. And that's fairly unique. I haven't seen that anywhere else yet. And the thought was that we can actually partner with a very relevant, very large, very adjacent industry called outplacement. Outplacement is this $4.5 billion industry where companies that are laying people off purchase outplacement services on behalf of the people that they're laying off. And outplacement services have one job: get this person employed. And the way they do that is they work with you on resume work, they work with you on your interview skills. They're not exactly recruiters. They're not making these introductions for you unless they have them, but they're really helping prepare you for the job hunting search, and they make it a little bit easier than doing it on your own, certainly. And these services are very expensive. At the cheapest, they're usually $750 a person. So imagine a company lays off 20 people at a restaurant or 100 people at a factory. It gets fairly pricey. And at the high end, if it's for executives, Goldman Sachs lays off a senior vice president or part of a restructuring, they'll pay like $20,000 for high-end services for that one individual. So the thought, we don't do any resume review ourselves. We're not trying to help you get a job. We're just making life cheaper for you. The thought was that we can go to outplacement services and say, hey, why don't you guys pay us for licenses to Riveter? And all of your candidates, all the people you work with, are going to get free membership to Riveter. And I thought that was a brilliant idea, because for the outplacement service, well, now maybe you could win deals you wouldn't win otherwise, where you say, hey, we do similar things to what everyone else does. We help you with resumes and cover letters and LinkedIn optimization, whatever else. We do kind of similar things. But also, if you go with us, you're going to get this other thing, and that's a differentiator. And you can actually charge more for it. So you could go to your client and say, hey, we've got this package. It's $750. We'll take care of their resume, and we'll give them 2 career coaching sessions. But for $850 or $1,000, we'll also provide access to Riveter. And the value is different, because an outplacement service is going to say, hey, we'll help you get a job. We'll help you, over time. It still takes time. It takes 3 to 4 months to get a job. But Riveter gives immediate value. It's, hey, the day you're laid off, here's Riveter, here's all these discounts. We made life better. So outplacement services can go to their companies, go to these HR directors who are managing the layoff and say, hey, you're coming to us to protect your employer brand and to give the person you're laying off a great experience in this very difficult time. We do that in 2 ways. We do that through the job hunt, and we also do that through Riveter. Seemed pretty straightforward. So I started reaching out, kind of on a whim, found a list of outplacement services, and had amazing feedback. I was so excited. I reached out to a bunch of people. Almost immediately, 3 CEOs got back to me. I set up calls. They were so excited. One of them actually wanted to do the call earlier than we originally agreed upon, because she had a client she wanted to share this with. It went great. But the bubble burst fairly quickly, which was a little frustrating. So the first calls were awesome. The CEOs of these really big, serious companies actually pushed back their next meeting so we can keep talking. They were definitely interested. The problem was, out of the 5 companies I talked to, 4 of them said no for very similar reasons. 4 of them said no because they're concerned they're not actually going to be able to monetize this. They're concerned that their clients are not going to want to pay extra for this because outplacement is in many ways, and they're going to kill me for saying this, but in many ways it is a commodity. And I suppose I'm burning any bridges I've got with outplacement firms now, but outplacement is a commodity. You can only make the resume so different. Your career coaches can only be so much better, so much more personalized. So outplacement firms are concerned that they're not going to be able to charge more for giving this slightly different thing because their entire industry is commoditized. So 4 out of 5 basically said no for some version of this reason. The fifth one that said yes, I was super excited until I realized their outplacement service is actually fairly small and an almost non-existent part of the business. They're mostly a staffing agency. But the thing is, they said yes, which gave a lot of... It felt great to say, hey, somebody who's been in the HR industry for a long time, who is kind of looking at outplacement, sees some value in Riveter and sees the fact that they can really possibly use Riveter to differentiate. So we signed a contract, we have an agreement. Basically, any outplacement candidate that comes through them, I'm going to be able to talk to, I'm going to be able to try to sell, and they're advertising the outplacement. So every once in a while, a candidate comes in. In truth, only one has come in so far, but before we started, it seems like they have a record of about one a month coming in. And being able to try to sell, try to talk to HR leaders with this much larger firm's name behind me is incredibly interesting. The one client who I talked to so far, they gave a lot of information. They taught me about the sale, and we didn't win the sale. They went with a much larger firm, and it was just interesting to note that here there's, HR people are told to test out 3 different options, and they do what they're told. They call 3 different companies, but then they kind of go with the larger brand. They kind of go with who's better known, and that's a frustrating challenge. So I was really excited at first, and then it kind of hurt when it really didn't work out because I thought we had something, right? I thought we really had it. This was perfect. And I guess that's part of the thing about trying to figure out revenue and traction for a startup is where are you going to go? What are you going to test next? Which one is going to work? Which are these channels? And you never really know for sure until you know. So the B2B side, has been really difficult. Next episode, we're going to talk about how we're kind of going direct to consumer, started going there much more directly, not exactly out of excitement at first, but now, absolutely. So listen up for the next episode. We're doing kind of a business model shift after the outplacement as the kind of 8th option or whatever, and trying to sell to businesses has failed. And we'll talk soon. If you want to learn more about Riveter, check out riveterworks.com, or we're Riveter Works all over the internet, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Don't have an Instagram yet. Or you can find me at alubarski2 all over the internet, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Or you can email me, Adriel at riveterworks.com, and let me know what you think. Good luck to you all. Happy selling.